Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we have the internationally recognized best-selling author of The Infinite Wisdom of the Akashic Records, Lisa Barnett. But she's so much more than that, y'all. She's her capacity to tune in and read the field and to interpret for you and to help guide you into what's available for you there as well is amazing. Her tenacity as a pioneer into these conversations that we get to have now and how she has been guiding and leading the way and her capacity to keep renewing herself over and over again to stay relevant and to keep expanding as we continue to expand together is just impressive. And today we have the benefit of having Lisa with us, and we're going to be talking about your soul's wisdom, how to heal or release difficult relationships. How many of y'all can relate to some of that? Receive soul guidance to make important decisions. And y'all, there's so many things that are being rewritten because we're being rewired. And so to tap into that's so important. And to release unproductive patterns and so much more. We'll probably get into Q&A. But I hope you guys enjoy today's show. It's really special having Lisa on here. Sit back, relax, grab your cup of tea, your water, take a deep breath, enjoy as we say hello to Lisa. Lisa, welcome back.
Oh, thank you, John. I am thrilled to be back. It's always so fun to get to hang out with you and the energy of the collective people who come together to join us. So thrilled to be here.
Well, speaking of thrilling, what is exciting you right now? What are these waves that are riding, and how is that lighting you up, perhaps? Because a lot of times we start the shows like, what's wrong? What do we need to navigate? What do we need to clear? But no, what's amplifying for you that demonstrates to you that something good is happening?
Oh, my. Um, I love the fact that you asked that question because honestly, so much is exciting me. And a lot of it is because I really feel this huge opening, this huge, really awakening. I know that humanity is awakening, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal year of people waking up, people shifting, right? People really realizing that this is, you know, that we're connected, that there is not only the Akashic field, which, gives you a whole library all about your soul, but that the quantum source energy, the quantum field, the void are actually phenomenally accessible to help us
Mm.
heal, realign, awaken, really just transform our world. So I'm excited.
How do you know that it's awakening? How do you know that it's expanding?
Ah, it's a great question. I'm going to say that a lot of it is both energetic.
Mm.
Um, and as I start to see things, of course, if you turned on your TV, then you might not think that that was the truth. But what so many of, people like you and me and all the people who are, part of this conversation today or in the future, we are stepping into our creator being
Mm.
power,
Yeah.
right? We are creator beings. And it is time to realize that, embrace that, and step into that power. And what I'm seeing is that people are doing that and life is shifting with ease.
Mm.
Whatever that is, if it's the new job or the new house or the new relationship or just a reorganization of their life that all of the sudden aligns it up so it's just perfect all of the sudden, right? So I see so many examples of that, which are, to me, are telling me that's what really is finally happening after this 12-year cycle we've been in.
I baited you with that question because I had a feeling that's where you would go, and it's just confirmation.
Mm,
It's like there's a knowing that I have, and when someone else like you, someone else that validates their experiences, puts that out into the field, it just strengthens our conviction is that there's something happening here. That's
yeah,
that's that's beyond just my feeling, which the feeling is it's wonderful. It's a wonderful navigation, but we're combining our feeling with our knowing. right?
Absolutely. And that knowing, right, that claircognizance, which even though I would venture to say it's often one of the trickier clairs,
Mhm.
because it's just that deep knowing, and no one ever teaches us how to trust that. So it's time to just know what you know, right? Trust that information, that knowingness, that guidance, right? That's to me why, again, it's so important to help people connect to their soul, to their soul's guidance, to really get clarity there so that it is a path that becomes simple to follow.
I want to make one point before I go on to the next question, but it's I found it so interesting that you said, if we turn on our TV, and how many times have we used that example? And I'm going to venture out and say that when we're talking about tuning into the TV 3 years from now, that's going to be a different conversation. Like tune in and actually connect with what's on there. I feel like there's a shift in the programming and what we're presenting, and also a thirst for something different, because we're all going to get to a point where we realize that those relationships and how they're being presented, because we are having relationship with this programming, that it's going to have to shift, because we don't want to be in those toxic relationships anymore. Which brings me to the question, how do we heal or release difficult relationships?
Well, human one-to-one relationships, um, one of the kind of easiest and sometimes deepest ways is, through accessing your soul's plan within your Akashic records and realizing what were you planning. So I have so many clients who come to me often kind of on that verge of divorce. I always think that's interesting.
Mm,
Um, that they're like, is this contract still valid? Do I have to stay in this marriage? It's always a little kind of funny and very sweet that very conscious people don't want to do something that's not in alignment with your soul, right? Is this? And it's always interesting. We open their records and ask the record keepers, what was this, soul contract about? Is it complete? Is this person part of their soul family? Do they have past lives with this person? What can we know, release, complete, help them to let go of? And I've actually, interestingly, that just this week had quite a few very deep dives into that question with clients, because there's a lot of different aspects. So you can be in a relationship with somebody and the contract is complete because the partner or the other person is not holding up their end of the contract. And so honestly, that becomes kind of null and void in this field, in the quantum field. And so you don't have to suffer and stay in a relationship that where that contract is complete. Now, there's also plenty of times where the record keepers say, no, it's not complete. There's more work to do. There's more learning to do. This is more about some level of support that's important for the two of you to kind of work on, understand, work through, learn from before it's complete. So when we go into the Akashic Records, to me, it's often about asking a lot of questions
mm.
about that contract, right? Because it's not just one yes or no, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's very deep and really talking about doing some healing for yourself, some soul growth, learning about some patterns that you've been stuck in. And a lot of times when people come to me like about a relationship, that contract, I would say, may have karma attached, which means they're thinking, why would I pick this relationship? Why would I pick a karmic relationship instead of a support relationship? But that's what the soul decides before they, embody. They say, I want to learn this. I want to complete this. And then I want to um, share and grow around what I learned. And often it's not surprising to see someone Like a good example is people who have grown up in very traumatic sorts of family situations, in abusive families. And with the healing, with the empowerment that they often receive through processes, through their own soul work, through their growth, they may become a speaker or a teacher or a therapist or, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. We pick the trauma in order to be triggered to learn something so that we can then go forward and share that.
That's really so enlightening, Lisa, the way that you're putting it. Um, and the part is like if someone else isn't holding up their end of the bargain. And a lot of times, I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to, and I've certainly had the experience. It's like, but I'm supposed to keep going, but I'm supposed to keep going. But if it's not
Right.
walked in agreement of what that contract is, then we don't have to say a prisoner of that. And so to have the clarity to be able to align and ask, to go to Akash, to ask, to learn how to ask the qualifying questions to get to the foundation of truth that exists in those agreements is profound. Um, how do you guide people to receive their own soul guidance to make these type of decisions?
Well, of course, I do Akashic readings and healings for clients, but in my Akashic Record workshop, I have a 5-step wisdom prayer system. So we like to make it easy. I'm such a fan of ease.
Yes, please.
I, I always say, even my meditations are only 10 minutes because we're human and I am that way also, right? And so over all these years as the record keepers give me guidance, it's always been make it, um, easy, really. 5-step wisdom prayer system. Here's a couple of access keys. Here's some tools. Here's a very simple way to move from this, kind of 3D world vibration that we might be hanging out in, up into the Akash, into this high vibrational energy of source, of the quantum, so that we can actually get that information, that we can ask those questions of our record keepers and receive information and guidance.
Hmm. Do you ever find that people are normally pretty good about asking questions sometimes, but then just fall short of that one question that would like blow everything else open?
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
you're so close. Just ask two more.
Right, exactly. And it's, honestly, what I teach in the workshop is I even give my students like 31 questions that you
Nice.
could ask as kind of like, how we do that even intuitively. Maybe we've thought of two or three. And I always say, go to page 19 and look at the 30 more questions. Just intuit. What else? Do I have enough information? Is there something better for me to be asking? What does my soul think about this? Right? Is there something that's hidden from me or that I'm not seeing? Right? So you start to go deeper and deeper into that wisdom. So you're not just getting a yes, no answer, because what I've known, what I've seen, what I've realized over all these years is that when we ask a yes no question, it may really backfire.
Mm.
So, I have a kind of a funny story about a client years and years ago, and she is always, every time she'd talk to me, she'd be like, "When is he coming? When is he coming?" Right? And one day I asked in her records, and I said, "Is there a relationship on the horizon?" And I got a yes. And the funny thing was, I actually got like a snapshot, I'm clairvoyant, but it was very specific. There was, kind of a plaid shirt and a white truck and a bald spot on the back of his head. And I was like, okay. And and a month or so later, she called me up and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I met him," and I'm like, "Wow, wow, yay, yay, you!" And a couple weeks later, she calls me up and she was like, "Oh my gosh, all he wanted was like a mother, someone to cook and clean and take care of him. Like, why?" And I said, "Well, what did you ask?"
Mm.
And she said, when?" Is someone coming? When? Right? Did you ask if you had a soul contract with him? Is
Mm.
he part of my soul family? Is he here to support me? Is this a karmic pattern or a lesson, right? I mean, I always want teach all my students, right, to
Mm.
ask all those questions. So it's really about going deep into the questioning and even asking the record keepers questions about what they say to you. Right? I mean, it's so important. People will, like, the record keepers will give you an answer and people go, "Oh, I don't understand that." And you're like, "Okay, ask for it in a different way."
Mm.
Ask for, like, tell them, "I don't understand what you mean. Give me an example." Right? It's a conversation, which is something, I mean, I use my intuition all the time, but I don't get that depth from my intuition.
Mm.
Right? You don't have a conversation
Right.
usually with your intuition that you can say, well, what about, say that another way? Can you give me a different idea, an image? You know, how can I take a baby step towards that goal?
Right. What you really demonstrate in that also is there's a depth. Again, we're going beyond the superficial answer, which a lot of times satiates our nervous system responses. Can I receive? Can I get? What's wrong? Just give me a little something, and it calms us down a little bit. But the really training to go deeper into the wisdom, there's a depth of receiving, but it also correlates to the standards that we're really desiring to live by. So while we're going deeper into that well, we're also raising the standards of the quality of the outcome that we're navigating into. And so it's a little vulnerable, but it's wonderful. It's like, why wouldn't we? And to have that training, to know that it's available to us, and to get attuned, to attune the body to receive in ways
Mm.
that it hasn't before. Uh, your needs, your desires, to fulfillment, answers to truth that really set you free in other ways. Um, it's so important, Lisa. That's great work.
Yeah, it is so important. And to me, this is really the way that we will create the new earth, that we will
Mhm.
create the world, is by saying, what do I really, but not just me, not the personality. What does my heart and soul desire? Why did I actually come? And they're not easy answers. It's not a one-shot thing,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
asking more questions, going deeper. And again, the reason that I am so passionate about teaching people to access their own Akashic records is because it is a tool that you have every day.
Mm.
Right? It's not, I mean, I love to do readings. I'm really fast at healing people. That's all great. But I want to empower people to do this for themselves.
Mhm.
To next year, to next month, to next week say, is it in my highest and best interest to, do this thing, go this place, take this vacation, take this job, and why? And do I have karmic patterns with people in this new job? I can ask all of those questions about, say, maybe I have two job offers. I'm not just saying which one, eeny, meeny, miny, mo kind of thing, this one or this one. It's like, what about the people I'm going to work with? Do I have soul contracts with them? Are they karmic? Are they support? Have I known them in other lifetimes? Right? What else can I
Mhm.
know? And then you know what you're walking into.
I one thought that I have is like, God, if people did what you're teaching them to do, you're going to make the work that we do here obsolete. Thank God. We can go create something else, so it's not a bad thing. But really, it's that empowering. So, well, hold on a second, Lisa. Y'all, we're going to get into Q&A in a little bit. So if you want to raise your hand, ask questions, we'll go there in just a little while. There's a couple of questions I want to ask Lisa before we go there, and there's some great information I know that's going to come through. Lisa's special offer is hugely discounted. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it's about teaching you how to access and how to ask these questions and do all that. This is y'all, for this price, it's and the empowerment, like the training that comes with it, it's like life changing. We'll get to the special offer in a little bit, but again, I want to get into the Q&A part to make sure you start raising your hands if you want to. So Lisa, so I start receiving information and I'm asking questions and I'm getting answers. Asking questions, getting answers. And you can tell me to do all the things that I need to do all day long, but if I don't actually do them, nothing really changes. And so how do we release those patterns of procrastination, not doing, holding back, that a lot of times we have the recipe right here in front of us, but we don't do anything with it.
Yeah, good point. And especially, I think right now, so many people are kind of new and waking up. There's a lot of still fear, concern, who knows what's next step. And so a lot of people are frozen. So honestly, one of the things that I love about having worked in the records for 30 years is that they've given me so many tools to help us, right? So it's not just a 5-step wisdom prayer system. I mean, I could put that on 2 or 3 pieces of paper, honestly, give it to you and be like, have fun, you know? No, it's a 14-hour workshop because the record keepers have so much to say. And it's about really stepping into your sovereignty, right? So
Mm,
there's tools to move other people out of our space who are often unconsciously controlling us. And, we're letting that happen. Sometimes we're inviting them in without even being aware that maybe our boundaries aren't so great. So
mm,
all these different guided visualizations, clearing prayers, healing prayers, all the work we do is helping to free people up, right? It always feel like my hands always, I always feel like I'm unwriting, unweaving, unhooking, um, uh, deconstructing, I think was the word that came up this morning.
ah,
Really, it's time to deconstruct a lot of these old patterns. And then, of course, we can go back and ask the record keepers, where did this pattern start? Did it start in this life? Is this something I can go back and heal in this lifetime? Or is this a long-term pattern of procrastination that goes back hundreds or thousands of years? And we can literally start to move again outside of time and space in this quantum field to start to unhook these old patterns, release, clear them, clear the emotional pain and trauma that have created a lot of these patterns, that have created the karmic patterns. So we start to see where they started, where they get triggered. So all of that is part of working in the record. So it's not just asking, if you only have a question, come for a reading, right?
mm.
But if you want to transform your life,
Right.
learn to access your Akashic records.
Amazing. When you speak of the record keepers, who are they?
So everybody, every soul, when they individuate from source, that soul, of course, goes on a journey, and everything that soul ever does, every place, world, plane, dimension, is recorded in this Akashic field. So I find that for us humans, thinking about it as a library is great, right? So you can just look at it as, I have a whole library filled with thousands and thousands of books, and I have a whole team of librarians, and these are who the record keepers are. And
Mm,
so when we can realize that not only do you have a record keeper, you have a dozen beings of light who are there in support of you. They are there to ask and to answer the questions that you're asking. So
mm,
a whole team, they've never been human. They have no judgment. They have no opinions about this human world. They're not angels. They're not anyone who has crossed over.
mm,
They're unique beings of light who are purely in service to you.
mm. Amazing. And again, the way that you guide and teach, and again, you guide and teach because you've experienced this also. It's not theoretical. You learn from a book and you're kind of applying and you kind of get hits. It's your awareness and your relationship to the record keepers from your aspects of it is what you use to guide other people to tune into theirs. And that experiential wisdom and embodied wisdom is really, I believe, the only way that we can really share and teach now.
Mm.
It's that's the science we've been waiting for, the proof, that it's being embodied through other people.
Yes, yeah. And when you have that experience, I mean, like I talk about the fact that I was born very awake. I realized I was trapped back in a body when I was about 3. I started studying as a teenager and studying philosophy in university. It was a very lifelong pattern. But it wasn't until I had been a healer, intuitive healer, um, because that was my first realization at 13, 14, was that I had come to be a healer. So it wasn't until my 30s that the record keepers actually started to talk to me. And I didn't know who that was because that was not a common thing in the 80s or 90s. Even now, even 2000s, most people
No,
still.
you would have been institutionalized in the early 80s. Absolutely. At least where I grew up.
Yeah,
Maybe not in
yeah,
California.
yeah, yeah. So it really, it was a long process
Wow.
for me to kind of to learn, to grow, to listen, to get everything from them very much when they said, help us to re-anchor the Akashic Records on the planet. And I was like, why would you do that? Why? Why
What does
would
that
you want
mean?
me to do
Yeah.
that? And,
Wow.
and they gave me information. Of course, they would say, because we pulled the energy away from the earth during the dark ages. And now we need people like you who are embodied, who were embodied record keepers. So that was what they told me. They said, you had been one of us. Once
Chills.
you come to Earth, you don't get to go back, which is fine too. But, that was like, wow, wild, phenomenal information. So it's through doing the work that
Mhm.
I have learned everything I've learned and have channeled the 4 books that I've written.
Wow.
So
Amazing. I want to get into Q&A. What we're going to
yeah.
get there in a second, but I'm curious, has the information that has the quality or the depth of information shifted dramatically from the 80s until now? Or is it the same message spoken in different ways?
Oh, it has really shifted. It's the way I see it having changed is really the awareness, the consciousness of the clients and the students. So
Mhm.
even, back then, though I would have thought, wow, that's pretty high consciousness to even have an idea what the Akashic records are. Um, it was still pretty new. There wasn't a lot of people holding the field. Um, Nobody was doing any healing in the Akashic records. It was, not until quite a bit later when the record keeper said, we want you to teach people how to heal because you're a healer, right? To teach healing tools through the Akash, so that we started to change from just asking questions, like, is this the right person or do I still have a soul contract, to being able to, can I shift that contract? What else can I know about it? Can I really be able to move into the quantum field? I don't think that became very conscious to me even, before 10 years ago. And now it's something I'm like, asking the record keepers, how do I teach that? Is there a way to teach it outside of kind of energetically, right? So one of the ways we teach is um, students match our energy, right? So
Right.
that is really what that initiation is I hold the field, so it's easy for you to use the access key to move into the Akash.
Mm.
And really the same thing I'm finding kind of with this quantum energy field, which is right, no time and space. It is nothingness and infinite possibility. So it
Mm.
is truly the energy of the all, the space, the void of the all. And so that's kind of the new next step that even I'm working with and teaching and bringing my students into. So it's shifted quite a bit in those years.
Yeah. I really appreciate the way that you share your awareness of the shift and what comes through because it's one thing to see the progression and the maturity of all of us, really, as we're tuning into new vibrational states of being. But the way that you describe it is with such excitement, and it gives a rod to like tune into about what is coming through, because we need things to be excited about, y'all. It's like it's to find those points along the road that motivate us to say, yes, that's where I want to head. Um, and to walk with someone who sees it so clearly in their own way. It's just fascinating. Thank you, Lisa. Amazing. Would you be
Yeah.
open up to Q&A right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Renee, let's get you to come on first. If I can get you to unmute your microphone, please.
Wow, I'm the first one. So
You
instead of
are welcome.
following the leader, I'm leading first. So yeah, I don't know exactly what to ask. I know that I remember some things that Lisa had done back in 2016, actually. I think it was 2000. I was in Charleston at the time. And that was helpful then. And so to some degree, I have access to the records now, to some degree. Sometimes, how do I say, am I just, I have a definitely analytical side and an intuitive side, and I listen most of the time, but there are aspects when I do not. But I guess maybe perhaps in this particular moment, if this is the right kind of question to ask in this forum, is what is the one thing that I should know that I'm not paying attention to that would be useful in my particular situation? Is there anything that you can say?
What I hear is that you are deeper than you believe,
Oh,
and that it is really time to trust your own soul guidance and wisdom.
okay.
And the other thing that, of course, the record keepers want to say is that because I've changed a lot, and I've changed the course over the last whatever that was, 8 years or
Over
so,
the years,
or
yeah.
yeah, 10 years. Always adding, more tools and more information, that it is very valuable to repeat a workshop. So, jumping back in, learning what, actually I've now downloaded 8 different galactic access keys in the form of sacred prayers to open your records. So back then, I don't know, maybe I had 3. Um, and so, it's just more galactic energy, bigger expanse, more tools, more questions, higher vibration. So I have tons of students who love to retake classes and just be in the energy, learn more, right? Just shift. It's actually very healing to spend something like a weekend, spend 14 hours in the Akashic field in this vibration, because as we actually get to hang out in the quantum for 2 days, we are asking the record keepers to help us release what no longer serves. And we're doing exercise after exercise and getting more information and being held in the field by not only me, but by the group. And so repeating, I always say, don't hesitate to repeat a class. It's not like, oh, I took it once. If you're doubting.
Well, I didn't mean to refer that. I mean, I just remembered because that was my introduction kind of in the venue. So I, when I'm able to do that coming up, then I will. I don't think I can do it like today,
Yeah.
but I will value that, and I'll keep that in mind to do that soon. How about that?
Yeah. And the workshop, and we'll talk about it, the workshop I'm doing is coming up in January. So it is not today.
It's not
Right.
today.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of
Renee,
course, my pleasure.
can I share something that's been coming for me, and then I'm guided to
Sure.
share with
Sure.
you.
I'm open to hear.
It's for all of us, but I
Mm.
heard it immediately when you asked the question. And I trust that claircognizance that comes through me, very much so. Play, 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 and play more. No matter how much you think you're playing now, play more. And I think that goes for a lot of us. It certainly applies to me. So it's definitely alive in my heart and my being as an expansionary relationship. It's a relationship, y'all, that we're having with a field. It's a relationship that we invite in for others to come into our sandbox as well. And us being open to going into others' sandboxes that are, of course, are of resonance. And the joy and the play, you'll know it because the vibrational field is so obvious when you're in that energy. There's no thinking, is this right or is this wrong? It's playful, it's fun, it's joyful. I want to go. There's no questioning it. We make up all these rules. Is it right? Is it not right? Is it this? Is this? How do I know? It's like, you know, and you know, and you know, and you know when you're playing, when you're joyful. So tune into that more. Seek it out. Be it. And this is for all of us. It's certainly I'm speaking to mirrors because it's definitely applying to me right now as well. So thank you for bringing that from your field so that I can reply in that way.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
Renee.
you. That's,
Good
and
to
it's
see you.
very apropos. So thank
Mhm.
you.
Wonderful. All
And
right,
it's such a big point actually to make, John, because that's one of the big, kind of key points I often will hear from the record keepers is, we are moving more into the beingness. And, people like me who have been doers all of our lives, I mean, full long life of doing, I have a harder time like not, but this is what I'm like, oh, I'm going to Kauai for 2 weeks and I'm going to
Yeah.
sit on a beach and hang out with you.
That's right.
It's like, because when we are in excitement and joy and spaciousness and beingness, the universe has the chance to bring you what you've been desiring, what your soul and your heart have been desiring. And it gives us the chance to let it show up and drop in and see it and notice it and take that step instead of running past it because we're so busy.
All right, Lisa, this question is for me. It's for you also, but it's for all of us. What if we don't know how to play in the way that we used to know how to play?
Mm,
Can we ask the record keepers that?
yeah, yeah. So what they're saying, they always say a couple things at once, so I um, so the teaching aspect that they say is that when you open your Akashic records, you are moving into, again, to source. So your records are, say, a big library, but they're stored in source. They are pure love, joy, bliss. And so just by opening your records, you allow yourself to be in that energy and ask your record keepers to bring me some joy. Remind me of fun places, things I did as a kid. Show me where and when I was joyful as a child, and let yourself experience the energy, relive that memory, anchor it in. I actually even share like an energy of how to anchor it into your body in this moment. And so we can ask the records, it's not about, the Akashic records are phenomenally powerful and helpful for big questions and changing your life. And they are phenomenally powerful and helpful in asking to bring forward energies, memories, feelings to really shift a lot of what we've shut off in our adult lives.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah, very, very helpful to open your records and be like, show me what it feels like to
Oh
have
my
fun.
God. Amazing. Yeah, awesome. See, Renee, you thought you didn't know what you were asking. Look what came out of it. Amazing. Thank you. Um, Hey, we're going to get into more Q&A, but we started talking about the special offer. I want to make sure that we have plenty of time for everybody to sign up because y'all, to be in the records for this long, it just to train that muscle and to have it like land is and the price for this is extremely discounted. I don't think we put the original price on there, but this is really, really extremely discounted for Lisa's offer. So y'all click on the special offer link. It's in the chat box. If you need to open up a new browser, go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Lisa34. It'll take you to the same page. And Lisa, guide everybody through what they're going to dive into with you in the records by joining you.
Yes, absolutely. So it is like my greatest passion to be able to share and to teach you all how to access your own Akashic records. And as I was mentioning earlier, the Akashic record keepers have given me a beautiful, simple 5-step wisdom prayer system. I teach you 3 different access keys, which are connected to 3 different kind of galactic worlds in this first workshop. And we learn all of these different beautiful energetic tools. Again, just really how to be more fully embodied, how to be a sovereign soul in a human body, so that what we're doing is we're realigning ourselves so we have access into this infinite library of you. And part of what it takes is, for most of us, is to get everybody out of our space, to let go of old patterns, to clear some karmic stories, to realize what your heart really desires. And so in really this 2 full-day workshop, I teach you all of these with tools and processes and healing prayers and access keys, and we just dive in and start asking questions as we open our hearts to receive the support of your Akashic record keepers. Again, a dozen beings of light waiting around to talk to you. You know, you've got already another half a dozen angels. These are pure beings of light from source in your Akash. And so being able to move into that heart-centered space, to have them holding this field for us so that we can truly expand as the expansive creator beings that we are, these infinite souls that we are, and learn about all these different tools, understand your life, your relationships, your contracts, your traumas. All of this is part of what we do in this really full day. And so what I share with you is a 40+ page manual. So you have everything in front of you, the access prayers, the healing prayers, all the gifts, all of that information. We go through it, you know, together. There's time to ask questions. There's time to share. And so I really hold this space. We're doing this January 4th and 5th. It's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time, you know, so a little bit later on the East Coast. And so I am there just really sharing my love and wisdom of the Akashic Records with you.
Yeah. As you've guided other people through something similar, what kind of experiences do they have?
Well, I would say that a variety, right? 14
Course.
hours, pretty long time. But really to feel held in this space of the divine, to feel the love of source that you can feel in the Akashic records, to receive the healing with ease and grace that you experience in the workshop, to get the downloads, the information, the aha moments is always so fun when people get that, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said, or,
Mhm.
all of those very fun kind of aha moments. And then there's the moments of tears where people are just so deeply, deeply touched and held in source energy and realize that these beautiful beings of light are here holding us. They're here for you. And as we start to release some of the old pain and release some of the trauma and start to shift all of that energy so we can unravel and unwrite those old contracts and move forward so that we're able to say write a new contract or align to maybe an important supportive relationship you already wrote that contract for before you embodied, and now you're ready because we start to heal our hearts and remember the truth of who you are as this beautiful infinite soul.
And to connect more deeply in that way and more directly, and again, asking those qualifying questions. It's y'all, this is awesome. This is so good to go through the experience. And to be honest with you, Lisa, just if we stopped at 5 minutes in the call and everybody just walked away with like, if someone's not ending, keeping their end of the contract, you don't have to keep it. Just that is life-changing, y'all. That is worth the price of the package alone. Just that little nugget. Seriously, how many of y'all felt a little bit of relief when you heard that? It's like, wait, right?
I
Right?
love
It's
it.
like,
I love it.
what? Why wasn't I aware of that before? It's like you just opened the door for freedom just in that. And there's so much of that in this and more. So this is amazing, y'all. Again, 2 live days, 7 hours each day. Where did the dates for the course, Lisa? Again, they're live.
Yeah, January 4th and 5th. So it's a weekend because people have asked for a long time, like, you never do it on the weekend. I'm like, okay, I'm doing a weekend class in January.
Excellent. And they're live. There'll be replays, of course. Are there Q&A sections in there as well where people can ask questions?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Lots of Q&A breaks. I love, love, love to have people share what they're experiencing because not only when we share, other people then they go, oh, wow, that was like real. I had something like that too. Or they ask their questions. What about this? Is that the records? What? Yeah. So tons of time to ask questions and share during the 14 hours. Come on. It's
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's 200 and some odd dollars on the special offer.
22.
222
22. Yeah.
on the special. How much does it read? It's like $400, or is it how much?
More really. The before discounted class is almost 700, and then usually
Wow.
I'm offering it for about 444. So it's 50% off my discounted price of
Wow.
700.
And y'all, we haven't even gone through the bonuses yet. What are the bonuses that you have on there?
Oh gosh, let's see. I have to go. So a lot of the tools. So of course the record keepers have given me a million tools, and so I love to share them. And so one of the big bonuses is a savings of 25% on a private consultation with me.
Nice.
So as a student and you decide that you're ready to like have somebody do a bunch of clearing for you, you save 25% on that. There is a rainbow shield meditation to help you be guided, guarded, and protected, to
Mm.
help you be the sovereign of your life. And those are words a lot of people throw around. But what the record keepers have said is that truly bringing your soul into your body. Okay, most people have no conscious concept that your soul wrote a contract with the physical body that you're in. And when you really activate that and bring that soul more present, really filling the full body, being the queen or the king of your, not only your physical body, but your energy field, your auric field, we start to be able to align to everything that is your truth, right? To your records, to your soul path and purpose, to your soul contracts, all those beautiful souls that are out there to support you, to align to your soul family members. And so this simple, beautiful 10-minute rainbow shield meditation helps you to be the sovereign of your life. So it's a deep and profound practice. And of course, I teach a fast, simple, beautiful, really tripod grounding system so we can stay grounded as we are being the sovereign, as well as I teach people to call back their energy, because we leave our energy scattered all over the place. People have no idea where they've left half of their energy, and we wonder why we're exhausted, right? And so I teach another beautiful tool to call back your energy and fill yourself up with all of your energy in your body. And so that is, I think that's it. That's the three
Is that all? God, please,
four
God, no,
bonuses.
no.
Yep.
Amazing. Y'all, $222, a two payment offer, the live class recordings, um, the bonuses. I love that you're teaching people how to open and close. It's so important. We don't talk about that enough. We don't practice it enough as a whole. I do it sometimes. I forget sometimes. When I do it, I feel much more grounded and empowered. Afterwards, when I forget sometimes I'm a little wobbly in the field. And I notice, and then it's like, oh, let me center myself as beautifully as I'm connected. A lot of times we don't want to leave that. It's like, let's keep it open.
Yep.
And sometimes you feel the effects of not closing it as well. So to be just really grounded and intelligent and with that access so that we can embody what's right for us and walk forward with that light, with that wisdom in your own life. It's amazing. I love that you put this out there, and thank you so much for how generously you're putting this forward for our audience here on Beyond the Ordinary. Y'all, the link's in the chat box. I hope y'all take advantage of it. It's gonna be amazing, amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
it's so, I mean, it is so fun. And one of the other things the record keepers were saying when we were talking about like more fun or more joy is, they're really funny. The record keepers they're not serious, they're not stern, they're pure love, they're pure light, they're pure joy. So they're very funny. So hanging out in the records, kind of having these conversations, I mean, that's
Nice.
what I always feel like. I'm very, joyful. I laugh a lot, even tough stuff. Sometimes they always are so kind and caring and considerate, even with challenges. They want to speak to you so that you can understand and receive and heal, and all of that is so important in this really profound relationship that you create with the record keepers.
Amazing. All right, y'all, take advantage of it. Go in and have fun. I encourage you to play.
Play, yes.
Play. Let's go to some more Q&A. Tara, let's get you to unmute your microphone, please, and welcome. We can't hear you, Tara.
Oh, no?
There
you
you
hear
are.
me?
Yeah, you
Okay.
came on now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, John. Hi, Lisa. Question, I know that, I've been taught technique before to go in, and I think that started me accessing a lot of different lifetimes in my meditations.
Mhm.
So I wonder if you, could kind of tell me what's happening to me, because I see these past lifetimes. There are things that I've never been really exposed to in my life. So,
Right. Well, I mean, of course, so when we write a plan, right, when we decide to come back and pick a body and do this whole story, there are past lives that are connected to everything that we literally choose. So we make contracts with soul family members often to sometimes support us. Sometimes they're karmic. Sometimes they're like, I'll be the bad guy in this story. So you can finish that, that karmic pattern. Our gifts and talents, which is something else that we really, really love to reclaim, right? So I always want to teach everybody to clear the junk that's blocking you from accessing your gifts. right? So a lot of those past lives will have gifts that were, you might remember lifetimes. And so, of course, I have lots of students who remember having been healers, or, and then maybe they got killed for being a witch. And so the death is the trauma, so they haven't been able to access the healing aspect. So it's important to start to learn in the records to, and this is again something I teach, to go into the records to heal the emotional pain and trauma in the quantum field, so that we can release that, heal that life, and reclaim the gifts. It is actually soul retrieval. So we're retrieving aspects of our soul that we've lost to trauma, right? Through challenging deaths and lives and different things like that. So what I find is that often when a person does start to raise their vibration, maybe use a tool like an access prayer, start to open the doors, we're inviting that energy and that information in. And this is why what John was saying is actually really important, because part of the 5-step wisdom prayer system is to open your records, to ask questions, and then do the healing, and then fill yourself up with your highest Akashic energy, and close and lock your records before you go off into your day. And so sometimes we're just kind of leaking energy in a sense, and it can be, some of it's fun or cool, hopefully, but some of it's kind of scary or challenging, and we don't know what to do with it. So literally doing a workshop like this specific one, learning a 5-step wisdom prayer system, learning to open, go into, fill, close,
Wow. So,
learning the whole tool.
so that would give
Transformational.
me a focus,
Yes.
a funneling, instead of me just seeing a Hindu lifetime where, I was on elephants and,
Right.
okay.
Right. And then you can open your records and say, show me a lifetime, say maybe where I was enlightened. And then that lifetime will show up. It's
Okay.
in connection to a question. And then you can say, okay, record keepers, is there something blocking me from accessing that awakening? Is there something I can know, that I can clear, that I can release? And if not, well, let's help me to move more easily with these, or, with grace into this process of awakening. And so it's a process, not just a picture. It's asking all those questions, healing the pain, and reclaiming the gifts and talents.
So it's a specific tool, because to go into those. I got it. Okay.
Awesome, Tara. Great question. Thank you. Lisa, so if I have a particular difficult person in my life, I can actually ask the qualifying questions to go in, and I can actually access the healing to complete or rewrite that contract.
Yes. So
Y'all, 222, you're welcome.
not really. Wait, maybe we should change that, John.
Right. I don't think we're charging enough.
We are. So yeah, I mean, you would literally open your records. Now, this is about you accessing the information in your Akashic field. So you would open your records. You would say, do I have a soul contract with this person? You're not opening their records. You're not going into any of that energy. This is really about you. And you get an answer. So maybe it's like, yes, you have a karmic contract, and it's about learning to step into your power. And it may actually be about sometimes saying no and walking away, creating better boundaries. Maybe, oh, nope, that contract's been done for 10 years, or,
Right.
I mean, it can be all sorts of different things, but now or maybe this was just a human choice, right? We make human relationships that we have no contracts with these people. And sometimes it's like, oh, I got married because I was trying to escape my parents. And so I just married the first guy that came along and said, will you marry me? Right?
Mm.
You may not, or you may have or have not a contract, but to understand that and to clear and complete that, all of those are great gifts that we can get in the records.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Tara, for your question. All right, let's continue.
John.
Joe Goldberg, welcome to the call.
Hello, thank you.
Mhm.
So I have a question about playing in sandboxes. Uh, and can you play in too many sandboxes at once? Right now I'm in the middle of a really intensive course. I'm getting more in depth contact with my guides and learning to ask the right questions. And it's just starting and it's already overwhelming to me. And I do know that, our part of my getting in touch with them is all about soul guidance. Uh, but I'm also really, really interested in the Akashic Records. And so I'm wondering if I do this course, is it going to be too much, or is it going to not be a good icon? Is it going to muddy the waters or clarify the waters, or how do I know that?
Yeah, great question. So, how best to answer that? So my experience, and really I can mostly only speak from that or experiences that other students have shared, but my experience was that I actually studied for a pretty long time, 8 years as an energy healer and intuitive. And when I started to access the Akashic Records, or when the record keepers actually started to talk to me, it was so much more expansive information that it really boosted me into a higher level, into a higher vibration. And I realized that the Akashic Records acts more as the umbrella over all other modalities than it just being another modality. So probably the little bit more complicated thing is, and of course I always tell my students, you can access your records and do EFT or any other sort of healing modality that you've learned, because everything you do in the Akash is going to amplify other things, right? So if you're doing EFT, if you're tapping to clear emotions out of your body, they are supercharged by being in the Akashic field, because the Akash is part of source and the quantum. So it's actually up leveling everything else you do. Now, you as a human, right?
Right.
I wish I could really answer that very clearly, but what I would say is for 222, I would give it a try for a weekend and
Right.
see if that up levels everything else you're doing. Because honestly, I just, kind of laugh at myself. I studied it really as an intuitive healer, seriously, 8 years, as a psychic for 3. I was kind of a crap psychic, honestly. But once I moved into the records, wow, it just like opened all the clairs, all the information, the claircognizance, the knowingness, everything came in line. And so it's a huge boost into a very, very, very high vibration. I'm literally going to say the highest vibration that we can access as humans on this planet. So it is one of the greatest empowerment tools on the earth today, is what the record keepers tell me.
Wow.
Thank you.
Joe, I want to ask a follow-up question because, we get to ask deeper questions to get,
Yes.
more profound answers. And this is for all of us because things are speeding up. We are receiving a lot more. We're expanding in ways that we haven't expanded before collectively as humans. I believe that's my knowing. What can we do, Lisa, to help stabilize some of the overwhelm that many of us are feeling in different parts of our lives?
I'm just exhausted now. I stay exhausted.
Overwhelm, a lot of energy, a lot of information coming at us wanting and excited about new information, even though it may be subconscious, acclimating to a lot of guidance that's coming in, releasing a lot of things that are being released. There's a lot going on. So, Lisa, what would be What would be something that they would recommend or suggest?
So what the record keepers say is that, of course, doing everything you can to keep your vibration high, right? So again, honestly always say I live in a bubble. I
Yeah.
think it's really smart for us to create our own little bubbles of light, because you are all light beings. And so again, we stay away from whatever brings us down, whatever muddies our energy field. We clear all the people out who are really not in alignment with our soul and our soul contracts. We want to raise our vibration with, you can literally, and I say this many times during the course, open your Akashic records, move into the quantum field of source, right? Move into your Akashic records and hang out with your record keepers and ask them for a healing.
Mm.
Is there something I can know? Can you just clear whatever that is? If I don't need to know anything, fine. Just help me clear it. And again, these tools, this rainbow shield tool, this calling back your energy. So your energy is in your body and it's not out there with your family who's having a challenge or whatever it might be. So again, being the sovereign is part of it. And then I teach you tools to do that. And the record keepers will help you to clear and to heal and to more fully embody really the light that you are.
Mm. The guides are I'm hearing, and it's playful. So I'm gonna give y'all a question to ask but it's a mantra also. Y'all ready?
Ready.
Is this my circus and is this my monkey? Really? And if it's not, then step away and use the mantra, not my circus, not my monkey, and put yourself in your bubble. Honor your energy, honor that this becoming that is coming through you, and hold it as holy space. Truly. And we can play with it. We can do this. We have these other wants and desires for it. But the anchoring in of the sacred temple that you hold within yourself is one of the most significant understandings that you need to be aware of. And when you can be in reverence and devotion to that, the clarity that'll come from the questions that you ask will meet you from that devotional intelligence. It's profound. It's profound. Yeah.
Already feel more grounded. Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Joe. Ah, amazing. Thank you, Lisa. All right, let's continue. More questions. Who is up here? I'm wobbling around here. Janine, let's go to you. Welcome to the call. And Janine, we'll have to ask you to unmute your microphone, please.
There it is.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, John and Lisa. This is really awesome. I really would like to ask the record keepers what my being, my soul, most is ready to hear at this time, if that's acceptable.
Well, one of the things I always do say is that I'm not in your Akashic records. It is actually a process that I teach you because, and again, in kind of an honoring, which I think becomes more and more important as we go forward, as more tools show up, as more people start randomly teaching stuff, is to honor the process of accessing the Akash and literally having a conversation with your record keepers. So I'm in my records, I get information for people in my records, but I'm not in yours, which means that it's not the same as Akashic reading.
Sure.
But what I am hearing, which is kind of funny, apparently this is a theme, John, is about stepping into flow and fun and joy and letting yourself feel good about it, letting yourself love yourself for it. So there's a whole piece in there about that self-love and fun and it's okay and yay you. And so they're like, it really is time. It is time. So that is what they want you to hear.
That's interesting because several times a week I go ballroom dancing, and that is like so much joy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's your new job. No.
So, I wonder, I do something where I sync up with my divine blueprint. I wonder if I can just ask if there's anything to know about that in relation to what you do.
Um, there are different kinds of modalities. So I don't know what that means to you. I don't, kind of,
Mhm.
to me, the way I see it in the Akashic Records is what we are doing is accessing that not just blueprint that we brought to this body, but the whole freaking library, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so energetically we did, and I know people do this numerologically and these different sorts of ways, which I think are wonderful and profound also. To me, the going deeper is actually learning to communicate with these dozen beings of light who are here to not only help you upload, heal, clear, whatever that blueprint is, however it might be out of sync, but to really learn, understand, and grow from this human experience, from this soul plan that that you wrote. And so really bringing that into really conscious alignment. I think it right now I keep hearing the consciousness is such a big piece of moving forward and really, right, again, living our joy. I mean, yay, ballroom dancing. It just feels almost like maybe there's more. Is there more to that than, you know? So,
Thank
I mean,
you.
it's so beautiful to bring that joy and bring more of that to the world.
Thank you. I really appreciate both of you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's continue. Min, we're going to go to you in a second. If you want to unmute your microphone, everybody, the special offer, the link's in the chat box. Y'all take advantage of it. $222. It's retail over $700. Discounted, it's close to $500 on Lisa. So this is really special for BTO. I reached out to Lisa. Actually said, can you bring it a little bit lower when she first set it up? And I was like, I feel bad asking, but at the same time, I know that there's something there. And to make it accessible, that there's a reason to make it this accessible.
And I
Obviously,
agree.
obviously, I want y'all to have it. What'd you say, Lisa?
I said, I fully agree. I'm really, feeling that
Yeah.
this coming year that it's like, it's more important than ever. What the record keepers said to me, whatever, 20 plus years ago, is it's everyone's birthright to have access to their own Akashic library. And this is the time. I mean, we've been waiting this last, since 2012 to 2024. This 12 years is kind of been slow, and now it's coming to an end, right? And in just a few weeks with the solstice. But again, it's like next year, it's about positivity and creating this beautiful life that your soul wanted to create when you embodied, and now really is the time. So the gifts are being able to reclaim all those gifts that you have honed over 4 or 5 or 6 or 700 lifetimes in this human plane. It really is about creating a new earth, creating the life your heart and soul desires now. And to me, this is an easy, simple, beautiful, graceful tool to do that.
Amazing, amazing. Again, the link's in the chat box. Dive in. I highly recommend it. And with that, Min, what is your question? And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, John, for introducing us to Lisa. Min is actually what my dad used to call me. It's really Minnie.
Sweet.
I'm curious to know what my record keepers would have to let me know about my soul's purpose.
Interesting, right? So, of course, what the record keepers always say is that you have many purposes,
Nice.
And it's important to honor the purposes that you have completed. So they're actually saying that, yeah, I'm just hearing that there's like 3 purposes. I would say that most of us probably have 4 to 6 purposes. Otherwise, we would be bored out of our minds. And so, um, but again, really the honoring and the deepening. So it feels very much to me like, whatever, obviously you're showing up here, spending time on John's amazing calls, the deepening to truly take that next step and utilize it. So, and that again feels very much like kind of a message for humanity at this point. So thank you for kind of bringing that forward. But because you, as they're saying, have completed like 3 of your projects already, but there's more to do. And so the letting go and releasing some of the weight that holds us back almost, or drags us down, or keeps us even kind of locked down. Letting that go and taking a step forward. Join me in the Akash, or whatever you're called to do. If you've got tools, they're like, use them more. Do
Okay.
more. This is the time.
Wonderful.
I
And
had a question.
I'm actually gonna ask Renee a question, and Renee, you don't have to unmute yourself because I'm gonna answer it for you. But Renee, what's your purpose? What is your life purpose now? And I'm gonna answer for Renee. Yes, you, but that's okay. To play. Part of our purpose now is to play. And it seems superficial and frivolous, but I cannot emphasize enough how important that frequency is in this world right now. And it could seem simple, and it might be one of the most difficult things that we do right now because we're so driven, but I have to do something in order to achieve something so that something else can happen. And that's not going to materialize in the world that we are stepping into and have access to now without being in resonant frequency with that divine code. And play is one of the strongest impetuses for the electric current that you can generate to put you in phase coherence and alignment with that. We say it with a lot of fun, but I'm also one to introduce it with the severity of it, but with a lightness of heart as well. And so I wanted to anchor that in onto our call today also, because it cannot be emphasized enough.
Right. It's like we were talking a little bit earlier about, and me being like such a big doer, to stop, to do fun things, to play with my grandkids, go to Hawaii, all of the above, teach classes, whatever it is that you find fun, right?
Right.
But the play is, and the excitement, and again, the creating happens while we're in joy, right? While we're in having fun and in that space of joy and love, all of the energy of the compassion and the kindness, is part of what will transform everybody and start to bring us into really that higher vibrational playing field. So raise the field a big chunk, right? So that we can recreate this world.
Something that's been coming to me a lot also, and it was shared for me by someone that I've been working with, because we're working into a higher field of standards and resonance on what's available. And it was such an aha for me. It's like a lot of y'all playing, but how do we do that? How do we find play? What it's like, find examples of others who are doing it in the way that you're doing, but not here. Find an example of someone who's doing it. Like if you're 50, find someone who's doing it at 70 and let that be what you're striving for. find someone that has longevity with it. So it's not just a one-hit inspiration, but something where you've seen emulated and grounded in a way that's like, oh, that's not only possible, but I want that. Find other things. Follow Lisa, be on the course. I mean, feel the vibrancy of her agency and the playfulness that comes through these conversations and the way she shares with her guides, with the beings of light that are showing up for you, that are you, that are bringing you back home. And so find examples, make that your homework assignment, find them online, but like just, we need those grounding rods to demonstrate, because if we keep looping because we don't see it and we can't experience it in our own life, it's because we're meant to find it somewhere else. And so the experience of that, well, I don't know, what's your take on that, Lisa?
Yeah, no, I do. I actually love that. And, you know, again, it's recreating, right? We have a chance. And, you know, the record keepers talk about going forward and how much rebuilding we will do. And, you know, I think it's going to be, possibly in the outer world a little more challenging than most of us are used to, but it's about holding your vibration, living in your bubble, being the light and the love, and you're a magnet, right? So everything you are is what you're magnetizing to you, and even in that joy, fun being way, we need time to be that, to let, like I said, the quantum bring us what we desire, what is, you know, and it can be abundance, it can be health, it can be relationship, but a lot of it is about the love in a bigger way, the unconditional love, the compassion, the caring, the vision, the view, right? And that is, I don't know, even that to me is kind of fun. So yes, playing in uh, a childish way, I think is fabulous. And I just spent the day getting fun unicorn stuff for my granddaughter for her birthday, and I'm like, where's my unicorn, you know, ears, and where's my unicorn like nightgown? And I want to be that too. It's, you know, playing, it's fun. And if it's not that, it can be doing a meditation that feels just so exciting and bubbly and sparkly, and or sitting and watching a sunset and just, you know, walking on the beach. All of that is play, right? And so, yeah, just letting yourself check in, you know, what is that for me? What brings me joy? What brings me, and even fun, because a lot of us are still not able to access joy. It's a very, very high vibration. So what brings me happiness? What is fun? So it's actually a ladder we're climbing, moving up to joy and awakening and bliss. Those are high, high, high vibrations. They're part of the deep kind of energy of consciousness. So we're still, most of us, climbing the ladder. So fun
But
is
what a
good.
fun ladder to go up and down on.
Right.
And to have the experience. Oh my God, Lisa, I can talk to you forever. This is amazing. Yeah, I'll dive in more with Lisa. Again, the link to the special offers in the chat box. We'll be running the replay all weekend long and probably into early next week as well. So we'll send a link out for the replay, and you can always access replays on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. Lisa, this has been amazing. What a fun conversation with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just love being here with you and with everyone. And it really is a joy. And you know, to me, that's what makes kind of life worth living, is the excitement, you know, the question, what is exciting you, right? That is such an important question you can ask yourself in or out of the records, right? And I teach all sorts of kind of fun processes like that. Ask that question outside of your records. We actually do this as an exercise in the workshop. what will bring me more joy and fun in my life? You write it down, you know, whatever that is for you. And then we open the Akashic Records and you get to ask that same question of your record keepers. And
Chill.
it is shocking how different they can
Wow.
be very often.
Whoa. I've got to play with that. That sounds amazing. Yes, please. Yes. It's like going to the restaurant, having the buffet and getting the best food ever because you have those options. Wow. Ah, so fun. Lisa, thank you so much for everything that you do, for showing up, for your generosity also with the special offer. It's just it's like I've called you in so that we can do this. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
having
you.
me on to play with you, and everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you all in January, right? On Zoom. I get to see you and talk to you and answer your questions and share my 30 years of wisdom and healing tools and all of the above with you, January 4th and 5th. So I can't wait.
All right, Lisa, thank you. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Play, play, play until the next time I see you. And until then, enjoy. Bye, everybody.